My name is Kyle, and this is my story. So, when I was a boy, I grew up in a very loving family where my parents, they took care of me and my older brother and older sister. But a lot of the times as well, they kept working really hard. My dad was a teacher in theater, and so most of the time he left home around 5:30 in the morning, and many times he didn't come home until 7, 8 at night. Or if it was during the play, he didn't come home until about 12 o'clock at night. And my mom, she also was working full time, and from about 7:30 to about 6, 7 o'clock at night. So many times it was just me and my older brother, and sometimes my older sister, raising each other and taking care of each other. And as the years went by in elementary school and junior high, I was severely bullied and just pushed around a lot. And that was really hard for me at times, just because I didn't really have a secure emotional group that I could go to for help, other than talking to my parents over the dinner table or right before going to bed. And with that being said, it became really hard, especially when I came into junior high, where I was just pushed around a lot and told that my value was not what I thought it was, that I was equal to nothing. And there were even moments when they were like, you go into the trash can or I'm going to put you in the trash can. So to keep myself safe, I purposely had to obey what the bullies essentially did to me. And I decided I had enough. 9th grade came along, and I ended up just hiding in the seminary building, sometimes skipping classes and just avoiding contact with people. And I became very good friends with my seminary teacher, who actually started to take care of me and show me that I'm a person of great worth and I'm not alone in life, that I have great potential, and wherever I go, people will love me and people will follow me. So I decided to change schools in my junior year. I went to a different high school in a different city where my dad actually was the teacher. And even though we still didn't see each other often, it was still great to see each other in the hallway or give each other high fives. And if I needed something, he was there. And a little time later, I became very popular in school. I decided I didn't want my past to keep up with me. I'm going to change it by making a better future. So I decided to start saying hi to everyone in the hallway. Started making friends left and right, and over time I decided that I'm really good at listening. So I listened to people's stories, and I found out that a lot of my friends were struggling with drug addictions, alcohol, pornography, suicidal thoughts, you name it. And for me that was really hard. Many times in my education life, I've had a lot of friends commit suicide or die from drug overdoses or alcoholism. And roughly in the last 5 to 10 years, I've had over 60 friends die. And for me, that's been really hard. And I'm still facing a lot of struggles and anxieties with that. And because of that, it's actually something that helps push me, helps motivate me to get out of bed in the morning and be the difference that the world needs. There's so many people that have been struggling, a lot of people that feel alone and abandoned, and if anyone can be there, I want to be there. And so that's why I've been going around from school to school, from college to college, and sometimes even Walmart parking lots. And with my whiteboard sign, it's a fun whiteboard that I just write a quote on it, a different quote every day, and just be the difference that people need, something to motivate and uplift. And for me, being the difference and going out of my way has helped me and helped a lot of other people. Over the last 5 years, I've helped prevent over 300 suicidal attempts and 5 overdoses. And for me, finding success in my life is by helping others. So, that's a good question. I started Smile with Kyle on Instagram and Facebook for an extra way for people to reach out if they need help. Because a lot of times it's not comfortable or easy to reach out to like the suicide hotlines or find a counselor or someone to talk to. It's easy to talk to a stranger at times or someone that doesn't know too much. And from there, I can help get them the resources or needs that they need. And the Smile with Kyle actually came along just talking at my last college with a lot of my friends, where we were trying to think of a name that could attract more people, make them feel more comfortable. And one of my best friends, she told me that Smile with Kyle is just what I do, just because I always smile, and smiles are contagious, so might as well share it with everyone. Now it's being Smile with Everyone, Smile with Kyle. I've been doing Smile with Kyle for roughly 1 year, I would say. Maybe a year and a half, but going around to with a sign, that's been going on for years. I couldn't tell you how long. So when I first started walking around with this sign, it was right after I quit a job, so I could focus more on school, because my grades were slipping really bad, and they were also in night classes, so I ended up just being bored all day long, and sometimes not wanting to do my homework, but having to. And just being stuck at home, I became very depressed and lonely and very closed off from the world. And so I decided to do something different. I ended up seeing a whiteboard at Walmart for like $5 or $10. And I was like, that's it, I'm gonna do that. And I picked up a whiteboard and I found some dice in the drawer, and I decided to walk up and down the hallways and make a little game. And if people rolled a 3 or a 6, they would get a hug or a high five or word of advice, pickup lines, just a lot of fun stuff. And that was a lot of walking for me at first, and I still wasn't doing homework. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just write a quote or a phrase or motivation something on it and sit down and work on my homework. And if people come up to me, I can talk to them. That's my little break time. And that's kind of how I started it, is I needed to sit down or walk around and get out of the house and do something with my life. So I started college at Utah Valley University down in Orem, Utah, and I started there just walking up and down the hallways and leaving the board outside or inside the classrooms. And I've also gone to a few different high schools here and there, and I've just been invited to other events around Utah and now Idaho to be able to present my signs and talk with a lot of people and getting different clubs and organizations started. Let's see. So in high school, I started an anti-bully club called Go Team Us, and I was the president of that and got a lot of followers. But following that, my counselors and advisors actually approached me and said that there's a new thing coming out and they want me to be a part of it and help start it. And that ended up being Hope Squad. And with Hope Squad, that stands for Hold On, Persuade, Empower. And it's an anti-bully suicide squad where we went around the entire school and talked with a lot of people. My high school, it had roughly 5,000 people, and by the end of my senior year, I got to know almost every single person. And that's just because I got to be involved in not only their lives, but other people's lives in different schools. And from there, I went on my mission, and I came back and haven't really been in too many clubs other than like a few little sport games here and there with people, or just going to random people's game nights. So moreover, I'm just focused on my own club, I guess I can say. So it's impacted me a lot, where it's helped me get out of my shell. Believe it or not, I'm a very shy person. And at first I hesitated really hard in trying to actually talk to people and figure out how to actually say hi to people. Because a lot of times we just walk down the hallway just like, oh, there's someone gonna pretend I'm texting someone, fake a phone call, whatever. And it's helping me put down my phone and not rely just on social media, but more on the loves and care about other people and what I can give them. Another thing of how it's been impacting me is, instead of just being depressed and lonely and isolated from the world, I'm getting more engaged and looking for good works and helping others and being the best me that I can be. How and why I'm grateful for this. No one's asked me that question yet, so I actually have to think about that. how I'm grateful for this is it's given me a chance to meet a lot of people, but most of all, it's helped me get closer with my family and figure out who I am. And why that's important to me is having a childhood that wasn't perfect, but it was an experience that pushed me forward. It's helped me treasure friendships, even though I'm still not the best of friends sometimes to a lot of people and I make a lot of screw-ups. It's helped me realize that I'm capable of so much greatness, and I've been changing a lot of people's lives. And if anything, I've changed my own life for the better. On a normal day that I need to get back on schedule for, but on a normal day, I wake up with my roommates in the morning at about 5:30, and we go over to the gym, and we work out for a good hour until about 6:30ish, 7 o'clock-ish, depending on the day. And from there, I get ready for the day, make a good healthy breakfast, and I go to my classes. Most days I have classes, so I go to my classes, and in between my classes I walk down the hallways on the sidewalk with my whiteboard sign and try to make a goal of talking with at least 10 to 20 people. And if I have 3 or 4 classes in the day, then that's close to 100 people in the day. And then just the normal schedule: classes, lunch, dinner, sometimes classes again at night. And then just going home, studying, talking with roommates, being out with friends, just whatever happens in the day, then just try to sleep and get ready for the next day. So I've been trying to get a lot of people involved in what I'm doing, because a lot of people keep saying, that's so awesome, more people should do that. And then those people that say that don't do it. And so I've been letting people know that it's okay to do what other people do. It's okay to plagiarize, even though plagiarizing is not legal. But it's okay to just share kindness and be good to people. So I've been encouraging people to make their own signs, make good motivational things, high-five people in the hallway. Especially at school, more in high school I would say, you always have the same classes back to back, and you pass the same people daily, if not weekly. And how much better would the world be if you got to know 1 or 2 of them? And then you can feel less invisible to the world and more loved and cared for. And so that's kind of what I tried to do 2-ish weeks ago during Valentine's week, is get more people involved in making their own signs, making their own difference and mark in the world. My preparation for the sign is the best part. Daily, if not every other day, I try to look in the mirror and be like, hey you, how you doing? You was smart, you was kind, you was wonderful, I love you. And just a good pep talk and be like, no, it's going to be a hard day probably, let's do it. And then to find a quote, I either ask my friends, sometimes my grandma, she loves what I'm doing too, so she sends me quotes sometimes. And I just try to find something that inspires and helps people live and think, to let them know that I'm there and present. Many times those quotes are something quick and simple that if they just glance quickly and they can only read the first 3 words, that's the most important part, I think. Like letting them know that they're amazing, they're kind, they're smart, or they're worth dying for. So this is my whiteboard. Her name is, where's the name? Remember? I don't know. There's a lot of words on this, but this is my whiteboard. I love it. It's pretty and it's old and beaten up and scratched and falling apart. Like me. So, yeah, she's pretty. Little bumps and bruises and a few scars for a lot of good memories. She's great. She's amazing. She's kind. She's funny. She's smart and beautiful. Like you. I believe in you. Ta-da. Before I answer that, I think this is the best interviews and questions ever, because no one's asking me a lot of these. I love it. But working with people with the signs has been very interesting and kind of a challenge. challenge, especially because some people, if not most people, they don't really have the guts or the energy or motivation to do it. And I totally understand that, because that was exactly me for I don't know how many years growing up, where it's just hard to find that motivation just to do something different. And especially going out and talking with strangers, that most times we think of like going up to the ice cream truck person being like, "Can I have that ice cream, please? I really want an ice cream." And it's just very shy and nerve-wracking and hard to do. But if we feel more confident about our actions and that we're actually doing something in the world, like making a big difference, it's been great to see that that's been helping people get more engaged and active. One guy that I met with about a month ago, he always posts positive, happy, uplifting things on Instagram, and I like to think of him as a good friend now, just because he struggled at first just being social and talking with people. But now I see him on campus every once in a while with his own whiteboard and talking with people with his own quote. It's hard to do. It's not easy. But the fact that he's willing to put himself out there in the world and be the difference that people need, it's been at times very overwhelming, just being able to see that I'm not alone and they're not alone, that we're all fighting the same battles and we're making our own armies together. My hope and goal for Smile with Kyle is to get it nationally, if not worldly. I already have a few friends in Ecuador and Colombia and Peru who are kind of trying to do what I'm doing, but in their own different ways, which is great. But I want to get my idea of being positive, carrying signs around, and doing something different more publicly. Because strangers are only friends you haven't met yet. And so if we learn that it's okay to talk to strangers when the moment's right, of course, then the world is going to be a lot better. We're not going to battle face to face as much, but we're going to be able to be more civilized and have pleasant conversations, understand different points of views, and in the end just be really good friends with people, or if not anything, good acquaintances. Don't sweat the small stuff. Life's hard. It's going to beat you until it knocks you to the ground more than once. People are going to raise a bar of expectations that at times is impossible to reach. Just do the very best that you can. Know that people love you and you're not alone. Moreover, just be you. Be the very best you that you can be. And if you can only do your best, then that's the best. It's sufficient. It's great enough. If you can be you, then that's what the world needs. If you can't be you, then take down the mask and be you. So if I start talking like this, my words are kind of like this.
Okay.
Start talking like this. Oh, listeners. Don't. I'm just borrowing this apartment for the day.
Oh, really?
There's this guy, there's the camera crew here. My name's Kyle, and this is my story. Went to the theater, didn't you?
Okay.
Best bloopers ever. I love it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, she said yes and sorry. I don't know why. Why is she sorry? I'm so confused. What a world. I do that
and
too.
I was trying to remember the.
I said that weird. Yeah. Words. Bloopers. I told her I like these questions, but these are hard questions.
Yeah,
Cool.
and then if there's anything else.
I didn't prepare for this part. No, I did not. I did not prepare.
Yes.
It made me think this is better than school. Being this person is going to be...
And.
You guys want pancakes? I love waffles. Awesome. But I don't know how to spell that. There's no button to be like, I'm going to my dad. It's like a phone. Hi, Mr. Phone. You're my best friend. Okay. Don't worry, Andrew. We still love you. Alright. I think. Yes, we do. I heard that. This is me every day. I go through like 10 quotes. Were you filming that entire time?
Yeah, well, I needed.
I love it.
Now, I want you guys to have a wonderful school year, and I hope everything works out great for you. I'm just here at UVU, where it's nice and green and nice and warm. So if you guys ever need anything, message me, and I'll be able to help you out as best as I can. If not, make your voice heard.
Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Kyle Kryman, and I'm kind of here at University Mall, down in Orem. I want you guys to remember this message on my whiteboard. Now, it's probably backwards, but it says, you are great, you are smart, you are beautiful, and more importantly, you are everything. So I want you guys to remember who you are and what you stand for. Keep looking up and be happy. I love you guys.